Hi, my name's Todd Audiatis. I'm Associate Dean of Admission at Bridgewater State University. In today's video, we're going to cover the frequently asked questions that come through the financial aid office. Financial aid is a stressful process under normal circumstances, and the circumstances we're experiencing today are far from normal. Financial aid is especially important to Bridgewater students, and that 85% of them are on some form of financial aid, even if it's just the student loans. So today, we're going to be joined by my colleague, Lori Biechler, Director of Financial Aid at Bridgewater, who's going to cover with us the questions that are most often asked of her and her colleagues in the financial aid office. Laura, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So one of the questions that I know I encounter in my interaction with students, you probably get it in your office, is what exactly is the FAFSA? You know, it sounds like a fancy acronym. Can you explain to us what that means for our students and their families?
Sure. So the FAFSA is the federal free application that the entire United States higher education system uses when you're looking to go to college and seek financial aid. It's a simplified form that doesn't have any cost to the student or to the parent, and oftentimes does require both student and parent information. The FAFSA form is a general form that usually has a school code attached to it, depending on the college of your choice that you're looking to apply for financial aid. If you would like to gain more information, we can provide you the website where you can gain access and set up a username and PIN to enter. The FAFSA is an easy application, shouldn't take you more than 20 to 25 minutes to complete, and you can always reach out to the financial aid office or the federal government for questions when you're completing the form.
So Laura, help me clarify. I know in some cases I've encountered people who have said they had to pay for a FAFSA. Is that true, or should they be leery of sites and find themselves somewhere else on the internet?
The key part about the FAFSA is that the FAFSA form is completely free. So if you are seeing a service when you perhaps enter a Google search and someone is indicating, or a website is indicating that you can pay for someone to complete the FAFSA, what they're offering is a service that might not necessarily be needed. We actually encourage that people not pay for the FAFSA. This is different than other applications such as the CSS profile, which does require payment. Some schools around the United States in higher education and colleges and universities do require two different applications. So if you ever are curious if maybe you're applying to something that's going to be costing money, I ask that you take a pause and maybe call the school that you're most interested in to see what they're really looking for to complete your financial aid package.
That's great advice. Thank you. So students who have applied and have been offered admission may be asking, where do they find their financial aid offer?
It varies depending on the schools that you apply to. Some schools still mail out an award letter. Here at Bridgewater State University, we actually email you an award notice. This award offer is available through your info, which is a student service center that's online for students to access. We understand that it can sometimes be confusing as the first year you're going to school, so we're happy to help assist you with the logging in process. You actually receive a notice for your award offer through the system of admissions that notifies you to log in with your PIN to get to InfoBear. We do know that, once again, this can be challenging and sometimes confusing. So what we encourage you to do is just simply reach out to the financial aid office or the admissions office to confirm if you have an award offer, and we'll help guide you. There are directions in the email that you receive, but we're happy to always assist if you just reach out to us.
Great, thank you. Another question is, do we offer financial aid for students who want to take courses in the summer, either to get a head start on matriculating to Bridgewater, or plan on picking up a few extra courses once they're here?
There is financial aid in the summertime for all students who are matriculated at a college. What that means is there are some grants that certain students qualify for that give additional assistance. Although Bridgewater State University has a wide variety of classes and for incoming students, we do encourage that you realize that you have to be a matriculated student, and what that means is that you actually have to be attending here to be eligible for financial aid, which means you have to go through the full admission process. If you just take a class and you're not fully admitted, We're grateful and happy that you're here and we welcome you, but you probably will not be eligible for financial aid in that circumstance. So if you have questions about your eligibility, please reach out to the Admissions and Financial Aid Office so we can help.
Great, thank you. So I know the financial aid process can be especially overwhelming for parents and for students when there haven't been other people who have gone to college before in that family. So can you help walk parents through the process of what financial aid looks like exactly, the application process, and more importantly, how it relates to billing?
Right, so financial aid is something that can have many different types of awards offered to a student. And as a first-time generation student myself, I understand how confusing it can be. Award offers usually have free money, sometimes merit, sometimes institutional scholarship, along with what is also considered financial aid, which is student loans. These different compartments on an award offer will be designated at Bridgewater State University and clearly stated on your award offer. To have financial aid eligibility here, you do need to complete the FAFSA. Once you complete the FAFSA, we will then process the application and generate an award offer. On that award offer, you will see what you're eligible for based on the federal government's guidelines, along with the institutional dollars that are assigned to you as a student. As a parent, it is very confusing to figure out exactly how much college can cost and how the bill is going to apply when you have financial aid. To simply put it, once you look at your award offer, we usually want to connect you with your financial aid counselor. We'll go over what is actually a grant. We'll go over what a scholarship is. We'll also go over the requirements to maybe have a student loan on your account, as well as federal work-study offerings. Keep in mind that everyone's award offer is different, and that means that even at a different college and university, you could see different amounts. We understand that this process can be very, very confusing when looking at 2 and 3 colleges. What I would suggest doing is definitely contacting the financial aid office to get the full transparent details about what the cost is associated with attending Bridgewater, how your financial aid will be applied, and what else might be needed to complete your file if you do decide to attend Bridgewater.
Well, thank you, because I know there's sometimes confusion around cost of attendance and what that means exactly. So can you offer some insights into that? Because I know families get fixated on a sticker price, financial aid packages come in, there's a cost of attendance number, they don't match up. So can you clarify that for us?
Sure. So at a state university like Bridgewater State University, we actually have a cost of attendance that associates with each student that's very common. However, we do have an in-state, meaning a Massachusetts resident cost of attendance, along with an out-of-state cost of attendance. We also have a commuter cost of attendance, and then we also have a resident cost of attendance. On our website, you'll see under Costs and Aid a simplified version of what a traditional student that's full-time is looking at for the cost of attendance. Cost of attendance is more than just what is billed to you. Cost of attendance includes tuition fees, room and meal plan, miscellaneous, personal expenses, what the estimated amount of books are, and possibly if health insurance is needed. A cost of attendance is really a full package of what you're looking at to be a student. It is not necessarily your billable charges. Your billable charges will depend on how you register, if you're living on campus or not, if you're commuting, and then also any additional charges and fees that can come along with being a student. So always keep in mind that the cost of attendance is going to be greater than your billable dollars. And so it's very, very important to make sure that that is something that you really kind of think about when you're deciding on what type of college you want to go to. At Bridgewater State, we pride ourselves in being an affordable college option for students. And we understand that cost of attendance is as confusing as it can be with being a first-time student, never looking at a bill before. We are happy to go over line by line and also email you personalized worksheets so that you can see what it means to be a student at Bridgewater in many different ways.
Great. I know in the admissions process, we get a lot of questions about merit scholarships at Bridgewater. So can you speak to those concerns?
Because Bridgewater State University is a need-based school, what we basically do when we award students is we're looking at your FAFSA and your financial demonstrated need. Now, I understand that there's many schools that offer merit awards. We do have very few merit awards that you can find on our website, and the students are notified if they are considered eligible for these merits. Outside of that, I'd like to just kind of bring your attention to what our financial aid awards offer. Just because we don't offer merits to many students, what we do offer is a substantial amount of student support through institutional dollars. These are need-based dollars. It does not mean that you have to have a zero estimated family contribution to be eligible for need-based funding. As well as we have a substantial endowment scholarship that once you matriculate here, you can apply once a year to see if you're able to get some endowed scholarship funding. Many schools do use merit as a way to attract students. At Bridgewater, we do not currently employ that option. What we can say is that it's an affordable option, our costs are low, and our merit offers are found oftentimes in our assistance that we give through financial aid dollars. If you have questions about how a merit award might look at a different school compared to a Bridgewater State University award letter, we actually ask that you reach out to your designated financial aid counselor to go over the cost and how the merit might in fact still mean that you're paying quite a bit more than having a Bridgewater State University education.
Right. Oh, good. Thank you for clarifying that. I know sometimes after students have applied for financial aid, they filled out their FAFSA form, they may occasionally get an email from the financial aid office saying that they're missing something. So what would that something be, and how should students handle that?
The Department of Education actually selects about 24% of students annually and their parents for what we call verification processing. This is nothing to be scared of. It's simply the fact that the Department of Ed is asking the financial aid office that's received your FAFSA to verify the information has been inputted onto the form so that we can then say to the Department of Ed that what has been entered is correct. This is a random selection. It does not mean it's going to happen to you every year. What it is we want to make sure that you get your documentation in, so we actually notify you every week from Bridgewater State University's InfoBear if you in fact need to be giving us documentation. You might also receive a paper in the mail along with some forms. This is something that we know can be very stressful when you receive it. So what we ask is that you call and reach out to the financial aid office so we're able to further assist you. The verification items may include child support received or paid, income verification, unemployment may be collected, possible changes of circumstances in the household number, and any other information the government is asking us to verify. Again, this is random and it's not Bridgewater State University trying to find something out about you. We are required to collect this information, and we simply make sure that you're verified and that the information is correct. We send it to the Department of Ed, and then we're able to revise your award letter so that you have the most accurate financial aid possible.
Great. So if a student's selected for verification at Bridgewater and they've also been admitted at other schools, are those documents required by the other schools as well, or just Bridgewater?
So in general, at Bridgewater State, we only have students that are selected for verification through the FAFSA form. What this means is we only collect the FAFSA application. So that means that everyone who has your FAFSA application, if you applied to 7 or 10 schools, your FAFSA is selected for verification. There are some items that sometimes we like to clarify just because we see some conflict in data and we want to make sure that we have it correct. So oftentimes, yes, if your FAFSA is selected for verification, you're going to be asked for a lot of similar documents all over to every school that you asked to apply to. Once your financial aid is confirmed at one school, it does not mean that your financial aid verification is completed at a different school. So what we actually suggest to students is try to pick your top 2 or 3 schools, confirm what's needed at each one of those financial aid offices, and then let that financial aid office make sure that your verification is complete and send you a finalized award offer. This is the best way to make sure that you have more than one option and that you have been thorough in speaking with each financial aid office at the top schools of your choice.
No, that's great advice. Thanks, Laura. So I know these are crazy times brought on by the coronavirus crisis, and it's impacting students throughout their entire college search and selection process. So if a student's been admitted to Bridgewater, they've paid their deposit, circumstances have changed at home, maybe a parent or the student themselves don't have the same income that they had the prior year when they filled out the FAFSA. How do students or parents appeal their financial aid due to impacts from COVID-19?
So financial aid appeals actually aren't new to us in the financial aid office. We actually realize that the FAFSA asks for data that's 2 years past. And oftentimes parents have had a change in income or a change in circumstance. That could be medical, that could be employment, or that could be from a divorce or a death. We completely understand that there are things that happen and that with this pandemic, it's an added stress to students and their finances. What I can tell you at Bridgewater State University, we are basically asking parents and students to remain calm, to reach out to us with their concerns. And if we see that there's a need to do what we consider an adjustment to the results of the FAFSA, we will make sure that we do those for you in a timely manner. I will indicate and emphasize that yes, these are troubling times, but currently we are only about 8 weeks to 9 weeks into this pandemic. We know that this is long lasting, and we also have received certain federal dollars that we are looking to help our students with. These emergency funds are things that students can apply to as soon as they are matriculated into the school. What this means is that if your first semester is the fall semester and you are struggling, you will have the option as soon as September comes to apply for emergency funds for assistance. We do ask though that you keep in mind that these funds are limited and these funds are need-based, and as well these funds will eventually end. So if you're looking at the cost of your college and how to come to Bridgewater State, we want you to look at your award letter in general. We want you to think about the cost that's associated and not solely depend on emergency funding getting you through your first year of school. We want you to make an informed decision. We want you to make the right decision for you and your family. And we do not want you to be at Bridgewater stressed out about finances. So we are here to help. We also make sure that you have the funding needed based on financial need. So as these times are very confusing and stressful, work with your financial aid counselor, create that relationship. And I encourage you to always seek the answers from the financial aid office about financial aid appeals. We are here to help, and we will always make sure that we can do as much as we possibly can to help you get through your college education.
Great. Thanks, Laura. I know that these are scary times for students and their families, and that sort of reassurance is really helpful. So if I'm a student who has been admitted and I've deposited, I have my financial aid offer, what's next?
At this point in time, if you have your financial aid offer and it says that you don't owe the financial aid office anything, at this time, you can kind of just sit back and relax still. If you know that Bridgewater is the place where you're going to be attending, you can always, throughout the summer, reach out to your financial aid counselor, create a relationship, look forward to orientation, and make sure that once you are back and here on campus and enjoying your first freshman year or your first year here as a transfer, that you come to our office and get to know us. We're here to support you, but at the same time, you do have to come to us. One of the big things that a lot of students struggle with is, what if my financial aid offer is not enough for my bill? You are going to be receiving a bill midsummer, okay? On that bill, you're going to see health insurance charges, which you'll have instructions on how to waive if you have comparable health insurance. You will also see your current registration if you're pre-registered, and then the cost of possibly living on campus. As you go through these different steps, I'm very sure you're going to want to be able to pick up the phone and speak to someone, and someone in the financial aid office will go over what really your financial aid looks like, how your bill looks, and if there is a gap. A gap is very common here at Bridgewater, but it's nothing to be scared of. What we're trying to do is figure out how to close that gap for you and make sure that you're ready for the September start. So with that said, if you do find yourself not having enough financial aid to cover your total bill for the fall and for the spring, we want you to reach out to us so that we can help guide you looking at other resources such as a payment plan. There's the option of just paying one-time payments per semester. There's also the option of additional student loans, different types of student loans, and that's what we're here to help you with. So to keep it brief, I would suggest that upon you receiving your financial aid award offer, for right now, you are doing just fine. Wait for your bill. Reach out to your financial aid counselor when you have questions. We're here every day, Monday through Friday, and we're able to go over any of your concerns when it comes to what the September bill will look like, but we encourage you to kind of just hold on for right now. It's a little early. Once you get your bill, you can reach out to us, and then we'll be able to go line by line and assist you on the first steps to coming here in September.
That's great. Thanks, Laura. So I want to say in closing how much I appreciate you taking the time. I know this is a busy season for folks in financial aid, and I imagine this information has been hugely helpful to our students. I know in the close, I'm going to put up a slide that's going to have contact information for your office, a breakdown of the counselor assignments based on the last name of the admitted students who are enrolling, so that they can follow up with their counselors. Do you have any parting advice or words of wisdom you'd like to share before we sign off?
One of the things that I'd like to say is in these times where everyone is extremely stressed, the financial aid office is prepared to take on your questions and your concerns. We are here for you, and we look forward to helping you with your journey to Bridgewater, and then upon your graduation. We want to see you a Bear and as well a graduate of Bridgewater State University. So please know that once you start the relationship with your financial aid counselor, your journey here at Bridgewater State University will be supported, and we will try our very best to make sure that you have the best education possible at the affordable price, and make sure that you're not too far in debt. That is something that we live by here, and we really do hope that students take advantage of the opportunity of learning more about financial aid and how it can help them through college.
Great. Thanks again, Laura. I appreciate your time, and hopefully this helps our students along their path to becoming a Bear and a fulfilling career afterwards. So thanks again.